Hello, yeah, this video is because my friend Ashley Cox, who is on YouTube and on Twitter and that sort of thing, recommended me to buy an album because I think he wanted to hear my comments on the mastering. Okay, this is Shinedown, okay, and it's there somewhere in the Stratosphere double album kind of live set thing. It's got 2 CDs in, an acoustic set and an electric set, and it's got DVDs of both performances, so the same performances, the acoustic and the electric set on DVD as well. Okay. I'll say that I've got a few kind of hard rock kind of albums, but it's not entirely my bag of music. I've got some Evanescence albums, got Pretty Reckless on my iTunes somewhere, and some Nirvana, which I actually really like. Okay, but you know, as a genre, it's not entirely my thing. All right. However, I do love this album. It's absolutely brilliant. Okay. So yeah, but I'm just not going to buy, you know, 1,000 more Shinedown albums, you know. All right, I've got a couple of things to say about it. First of all, the mastering on it is absolutely superb. It's very, very loud, okay, but I wouldn't necessarily say that it's loudness ward as such, okay. It certainly has a real kind of open feel to it. There's no sort of nasty EQ coloration at all, like the kind of honking-y kind of upper bass tweaks that I spoke about on my last video about mastering. Yeah, so it's pretty damn good. Okay, so you know, if you sort of wondering whether or not to buy this album and you're teetering because you think the sound quality might not be fantastic, the sound quality is absolutely brilliant, okay? And the music on it is brilliant, okay? I do enjoy it, all right? That's, okay, that's sort of point number one. Point number two is slightly more vague, okay? I've played the electric set on CD twice, okay? It was so good that I had to listen to it twice, okay? And I've played the DVD of the electric live performance once, okay? Haven't touched the acoustic bits yet, I'll do that later, okay? Yeah, what do I think of the live performance? Well, this kind of like depends on your opinions, and it's a bit of a controversy that I haven't really touched upon before, even when I've spoken about live albums. Okay, there are several kind of well-known and well-worn roads that people do to get live albums to sound good live. Okay, what they might do is go out on the road and record some performances. Okay. And then come back into the studio and delete certain parts and play them again, and what have you. ABBA have been known to do that. It's quite well documented if you read Bright Lights, Dark Shadows, for example. They have been known to take live gigs back into the studio and then delete everything other than the drums and the audience, and then play again. You know, and re-record the thing. I hope they don't do that with their new live album. And also, on the B-side of The Name of the Game, there's a live version of their song I Wonder, where the piano has been flown in afterwards because they originally had a sax solo, and I've heard the bootlegs of their 77 live performance. I know that it was a sax solo that was done there. So yeah, it is well known that the groups do that, okay? Sorry. Coffee is required. My voice is on the way out. Had a bit of a heavy Saturday, people. And I'm not quite sort of back to normal yet. Yeah, so the other thing that people are doing now, again, you see, now you could go back to, you know, the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and find that, you know, the band would come out and supposedly play, but there would be other musicians behind the curtain playing for them because they couldn't really play. Okay. Nowadays, one thing that people do is kind of like have a MIDI click track and play backing tracks, and then sort of play over the top and play with them. Okay, which, I don't know the ethics of that. You know, if it's a part that obviously couldn't be replicated by an instrument or something like that. For example, there's a track by Paolo Nutini that's got a Charlie Chaplin speech on. Now, obviously, you're going to have to, you know, if you're going to perform that live and you want the Charlie Chaplin speech in it, then you've got to somehow or other, you know, mix that into the live performance. And yeah. You know, it has to be done sometimes. You know, I mean, Paul McCartney does his, you know, songs from Sergeant Pepper, and there's no way that a load of that stuff isn't, you know, it isn't recorded in the studio and then kind of, you know, flown into the live tracks somehow. Okay, when you watch Shinedown play their electric gig on the DVD, there are strings, keyboards, pianos, which are playing in certain places, which, you know, there are 4 musicians on stage, there are 4 musicians in the credits afterwards, you know, so obviously they've used backing tracks and things like that. But there's also been a bit of a controversy over whether or not their lead singer actually lip syncs, okay? And there are times when you watch that DVD and you think, actually, the sound that's coming out of his mouth might well be his voice, okay? I'm not going to go as far as to say that it's Glee or High School Musical, where it's very dubious even whether or not the person who's supposed to be singing is the person who's actually singing, okay? You know, because, you know, sometimes you think, well, actually, that voice and that person just don't match, and there's, you know, it's kind of just like an innate thing that, you know, you can actually look at and listen to and see, oh, actually, no, that voice could not come out of that person's body. And, you know, that's the feeling that I get when watching Glee and High School Musical. I didn't get that feeling watching Shinedown, but what I did see was that actually in places there are times where the music and the singing was not matching what you're actually seeing, okay? And yeah, it's the subject of a bit of controversy on the Shinedown forums and that sort of thing. So yeah, my tuppence worth is that there are places where it is definitely not the same performance and the same singer, as it were. No, get it right. Okay, it is the singer. Okay, it's just not his performance at that time. It's not exactly the same performance that's coming out of his mouth. Okay, all right. I will leave it there. I would doubtless have irritated a lot of people by that comment, but it's absolute fact. Okay, there is nowhere on the stage that there are strings and pianos and things, yet you hear them. Okay, there are times where the lips move, but the words that come out just do not look the same. Okay, even though I don't doubt that it's his voice, and I don't doubt that he's actually a talented singer. Okay, on the positive side of that, I don't see any signs of auto-tune or anything like that. Don't hear any signs of auto-tune. You know, and, you know, very positive side, this is a bloody good CD, and for someone who's not a committed hard rock fan, that is actually good praise, because yes, I actually enjoy it. All right, okay. I will see you later in another video.